Welcome back. It's great to have you with us on The Full View. The BRICS Summit in Sandton in Johannesburg has come and gone this week. From next January, there will be 6 new members as the body aims to become a counterweight to the perceived dominance of Western ideas. Well, one of the benefits of summits like these is to bring business people together, of course, across influential nations. And in Durban, there was a concerted effort this week to bring women business people together at the Africa Women Business Alliance Trade Conference. We're joined by the chair of the BRICS Women Business Alliance, the South African chapter, that's Lebogang Zulu. Zulu, thank you for being with us. Tell us about the Africa Trade Conference in Durban. What do you think was achieved?
Hi, Francis, and good afternoon to your viewers. The trade conference was really a culmination of a journey that we started early in the year when we took over from China. What we presented to our BRICS leaders at the time was an export-oriented, investment-led economic growth agenda with women entrepreneurs right at the center, as well as, of course, MSMEs. So what we celebrated in Durban was really a culmination of that, where we were intent on ensuring that BRICS WBA stays true to its objective as one of the economic cooperation structures. So we were intent on ensuring that by the time we get to the conference, that there are actual economic cooperation culminating from the B2Bs that we've had throughout the year, the scoping missions that we had. So it was indeed quite a highlight to just sum it up and say, for us to have achieved in just 7 months, an element where we're sitting with economic value contributing to the country just over 48 billion, which is then going to inject at least just over 120,000 jobs. For us, that was quite an achievement. And of course, we've had quite a couple of launches that were also then celebrated at the conference.
So explain how it works practically. Were women business people here from China, from India, looking at what our entrepreneurs offer, or was everybody showing what they could offer, hoping to make some sort of connection which could lead to a deal? Is that how it works?
No, ma'am. So when we started the strategy, we said, look, developing a strategy is one thing, implementing the strategy is another. So between March and July, we went out on what we call scoping missions. So we went to each BRIC country, visited our counterparts, had various engagements with different business communities, including the major business associations. And it is through those scoping missions where we identified opportunities that we then brought back home and linked those opportunities up with women entrepreneurs in South Africa, connected the two through the B2B engagements. Of course, they started engaging prior to the conference. So by the time we got to the conference, all the negotiations had happened, the structuring of the partnerships, the negotiations in terms of what do I want, what do you want, and the end result, of course, was then the trade conference that we saw in Durban.
Wonderful. So a lot of experts have said that if you look at it in terms of trade or just generally economically, BRICS hasn't really worked for us because we have a trade deficit with the other BRIC nations. We're not talking about the new members. But does meaningful collaboration like this change that outlook for if we look at the future?
Absolutely, Francis. I think the biggest lesson for me, having been part of these scoping missions, and of course the B2Bs, has been we cannot necessarily blame our BRICS counterparts for the negative trade balances that we are sitting with. Yes, with China, we're sitting with a negative trade balance of as of January 2023, we're sitting with a negative trade balance of 27 billion, followed by India, followed by Russia, and of course then closed off with Brazil. What do I mean when I say we cannot necessarily blame our counterparts in that regard? Everybody that walks into the BRICS table, they walk in with the economic agenda in mind. I think what has been, perhaps a challenge from our side is particularly ourselves as the SMMEs, is that we've not really been engaging in BRICS cooperation structures. We've not been interacting enough with business communities within BRICS. And secondly, and I think, which has really been a bigger lesson, has been that when we went into the scoping missions, we do not go on a witch hunt where we were imagining what could possibly be an opportunity. We walked into the scoping missions with a clear agenda in terms of what we're looking for. We're looking for trade opportunities, we're looking for investment opportunities, we're looking for capacity building partnerships, as well as technology transfer partnerships. Of course, we didn't get it right across all four, but we're happy with what we have achieved thus far. And it is such approaches that will enable the unseen sector to start playing a major role in the international agenda of the country. And that for us is what we're primarily focusing on. We are hoping by the time we hand over to Russia at the end of January, that the 48 billion would have multiplied at least by 2, if not more. So we're still proceeding. South Africa is not in BRICS for just an event. We are in BRICS beyond just the geopolitical partnerships. We are also in BRICS precisely to advance our economic cooperation agenda. So it doesn't just end because the summit has come and gone.
All right, we've basically run out of time, but last question, and very quickly, you can even refer to a specific entrepreneur, but does BRICS therefore represent a huge opportunity for female entrepreneurs in this country?
Absolutely, yes. We've got, one of the big deals that was signed, one of the big partnerships that was signed was a major joint venture that is involving a marigold plantation, processing, beef production, and energy production. And the female entrepreneur that is right at the center of that particular transaction is Ms. Nomondeshezi, who is heading Human Insights Africa. A very, very brilliant entrepreneur that we do believe that through her leadership, that particular project will definitely bear fruits.
Wonderful. That makes it really real. Thank you very much, Lebogang Zulu, chairperson of the BRICS WBA Women Business Alliance, the South African chapter.